Hey, what's up, mortals? It's MikeyMac here. Welcome to part 1 of What If Obito Uchiha Won the War. I just wanted to greet you guys and say sit back and relax, cause you're in for a treat. And so we begin. Gathered packs of sand floated in the air under the unrivaled influence of the 4th Kazekage Gaara, his chakra mobile within the same sand that the various leaders of all 5 major villages rode on. It was almost like they surfed in the air. It drifted forward. They were close to their destination, but even before they got there, their facial expression showed nothing but fear. Not fear for themselves, but for the numerous shinobi that lay scattered and battered on the ground. The cause of such carnage? It wasn't hard to figure out. Some ninja were still in the oppressive grips of the divine tree's branches. The victims' bodies pale and surely without life, as if malnourished. Their breath taken away, just like their chakra. Among them all, Tsunade seemed to be the most affected by such a scene, and that was understandable. She was a medical ninja, a ninja destined to assist and help those with ailments and requiring medical assistance. But she was there, doing nothing except watching them all die before her very eyes. It was starting to be repetitive, the distant memory of the Akatsuki's attack on Konoha knocking softly on her head, reminding her. This near-certain death rained upon the Shinobi Alliance by the Divine Tree hoped to dwindle their numbers, but it did much more than that, probing deep into their mental fortitude and wrecking it devastatingly. Men and women alike started losing hope. Their defenses and faith dropped drastically. They questioned their purpose in the battlefield, prepared to be inactive if that meant a secure life. Was that what the Shinobi had crumbled to? Mass death causing them to question their once vibrant will? It was almost pitiable. Saddening hearts, a common feature among all the ninja present, but perhaps it was more shown by the close comrades of Shikamaru Nara, who rested on the huge arm of Choji like a dead man. His pale face was dried like he'd had his life vacuumed away from him, but unlike the other victims, he still lived, and with that there was hope that he could be saved. Kurama's crimson aura around him seemed to be what sustained him for now, acting as a protective shell, like a life support, because that is what he needed. Life support. Sai and Sakura came running from the opposite direction, determination etched on their faces. They had intent to help in any way possible. "Sakura," Ino whispered, her voice weak, perhaps even weaker than Shikamaru's, if he'd had the strength to even speak to begin with. Sakura said nothing except giving the Yamanaka a nod before kneeling close to Shikamaru, her hand stretched out in front of her, and immediately her healing technique came into play, trying her best to heal every injury, ailment, or illness. Shikamaru seemed to be recovering, his breath slowing down and steadying, but there was no more sign of life despite the momentary rise and fall of his chest and his ever-active heartbeat. "We have to cut down the tree and..." As silent as the Shinobi Alliance was, not everyone was frozen out of fear. Some were carrying out their analyzing of the situation. Hiruzen was among those, suggesting that the tree be cut down just like any seed of discord planted in the Shinobi world, but his words were cut short by the sudden appearance of Orochimaru, Suigetsu, and Karin. They happened to have leapt from higher grounds and landed there in front of the 3rd Hokage. "Hiruzen-sama." Orochimaru's voice was as sick as ever, sounding like there was an obstruction in his throat. Suigetsu stood there contemplating the size of the tree up close. It didn't look as big as they'd expected, but it outclassed his already crazy expectations. The trio stood observing the tree, but Orochimaru's eyes darted in the direction of Sasuke with Jugo behind him, a sight that pleased him. Obito, Uchiha, the Ten-Tails Jinchuriki could see how puzzled the Shinobi Alliance were. There was no coordination, and they feared for their lives, it was evident. This was his chance to strike. The divine tree grew one huge branch shaped like an arm. It extended out with hopes to crush hundreds of ninja under its weight, but it was cut short, literally. Sasuke Uchiha interrupted the assault, his body covered in a huge purple perfectly armored humanoid avatar enslaved to his commands. With its grip on a sword capable of severing mountains, it effortlessly sliced clean through the branch of the divine tree, stopping its growth in its track and preventing the attack from blooming. But could he stop the tree itself from blooming? That was a question that remained yet unanswered. And just with that, it filled and fueled the entire of the Shinobi Alliance with hope and courage, and bravery flowed through them like an invisible stream. The first to proudly acknowledge it was Naruto Uzumaki. Tears that previously gathered around his eyes dried up after running down his bruised cheeks. Seeing Sasuke with his Susanoo, Naruto immediately activated his Kurama Sage Mode. A flaring cloak of Kurama chakra surrounded him elegantly, his fox-like irises gaining an additional feature. Such an irony that the mentioned additional feature was minus signs to his irises. And the final stage? Of course, an entire avatar of Kurama, 9 tails flocking behind the exorbitant replica. "Only senjutsu attacks work against him. You know that, right?" Naruto said after his preparations, but was cut off by Sasuke's rude response, which he was used to, and so he smiled. "I'm not slow," the Uchiha replied, not patient enough to let the blonde hair finish his sentence. His words carried the implication that Naruto was indeed less intelligent than himself. Whether a joke or to ease tension or another attempt to caress his huge ego was hard to tell. Because of the stern face that Sasuke carried, his emotions never flared in his eyes. That was one of the features that made him stand out. Sasuke wasn't the only one encased in the Susanoo. Jugo was also inside, playing a very important role. Black voluminous tendrils spread across the body of Susanoo. This was Jugo fusing his curse mark with Sasuke's Susanoo. The sight of it made a smile creep onto Orochimaru's face. "Let's go!" The duo charged towards the 10-tailed Jinchuriki who stood there waiting for their assaults. Simultaneously, a purple blade and an orange glowing fist were thrust forward. It met a surface too hard to be the body of Obito. It was something else. It was one of his Truthseeker balls transfigured into a shield that blocked their attacks. A shockwave rippled through the air, making the dark sky tremble with might compared to that of the gods. They applied pressure, pressing hard against the dark shield, but it was a fruitless effort. "All right, this is our chance to regroup. Let's take charge now. Scatter!" Tsunade spoke with the authority of the 5th Hokage, but there was no pride in it. It was like a warrior urging her people forward, leading them to victorious battle. But was this one going to be victorious? And with her words, the Hokage scattered, going to their various groups of ninja. Tsunade appeared in front of Shikamaru and his friends after several leaps. She saw his state and immediately knew his needs. She walked toward him and placed her hand on his forehead. In seconds, his eyes opened slowly, and then she walked away. "Sorry, Dad, but I won't be coming to meet you. Not right now. Naruto still needs me," Shikamaru whispered to himself as he recovered quite quickly. The joy on the faces of his comrades was indescribable. "Sorry, Grandpa." Tsunade approached her grandfather as she spoke, but was interrupted. "No, my cowardice caused this," Hashirama admitted, his voice carrying a hint of guilt like he was responsible for what had happened. "It's okay. You see, your will of fire still lives on." She was talking of Naruto and Sasuke, their bravery and courage when not even yet adults. It was outstanding. "Can you use the mind transmission technique?" Hashirama asked Ino after giving Tsunade a nod. He wasn't about to get sentimental while in battle. Maybe after they had all survived. Huh? Yes, I can." Ino Yamanaka was startled for a second that the Lord First was addressing her. He gave her an encouraging smile, and she placed her hand on his forehead and enacted the jutsu, linking him with every shinobi present. "We have 15 minutes to stop all of this. We have to either deal with the caster or cut the tree down. We'll cut down the tree while he's distracted by battle." Hashirama ordered everyone present, and soon they set into work. Every present ninja dragged out shuriken, kunai, or any other cutting equipment from their pouches or seals, ready to wage war on the divine tree. "Let's go!" they all chanted in unison. Thousands of voices fused into one. It was almost beautiful, but their voices weren't the only thing in sync. Their hurried steps were not excluded. They lunged toward the divine tree, using weapons, jutsus, and whatever necessary to harm it. The first to cause noticeable damage was Mifune, his sword cutting cleanly through a huge branch. His samurais followed in his steps, cleaving in two until nothing was left or they were taken out. 200 healing adepts should be able to summon 1/10 of Katsuya's actual body, Tsunade said while standing close to Sakura, who immediately understood this was her chance. They weaved the hand signs together and slammed their palms on the earth's surface. Black seals spread out, taking on a particular formation before a white fog shrouded their vision, seconds later to be replaced with a huge slug. Katsuya's body supposedly dissolved, but in truth, she was reducing in size and creating more of herself. Latching onto the injured and those yet to be injured, fear of her was present at first, but later replaced with appreciation as those opportuned felt her positivity. Meanwhile, after a brief speech with Minato, Tobirama used the Flying Thunder God technique to save those endangered by the reacting divine tree, teleporting them out of harm's way and back to safety. Obito flew away from Naruto and Sasuke, but they were persistent. They followed even in the air. And from his rear they tried to attack again, but this time from his sides. Their attack met the same fate, blocked by 2 Truth Seeker orbs transfigured to meet Obito's needs. They struggled keeping up with the pressure, trying several similar strikes, but there was nothing to show for it besides huge sparks that decorated the sky like expensive fireworks. They tried again and again and again, but it was just fruitless, and then he tried. His Truth-Seeker shields taking the shape of arms, coiling around the Susanoo and Kurama. "I'll help you dream." His voice like it was distant, like it came from a shallow well, but it carried that sense of finality, like he was certain of what he said, like there was no other option. He was just so confident, and it pissed the duo off, but there was nothing they could do about it now. He dragged them down, and they descended at a pace unseen. It was baffling. They fell while still restricted, Obito's excitement not hidden as his eyes widened and bulged. He pulled them down, perhaps to their death, perhaps to their hell. He slammed them on the ground. The force was tremendous. It was incredible. For a second it left the entire Shinobi Alliance shocked. Even Madara from his distance looked up. A shockwave of insane magnitude spread out, dust carried in its wake. It blinded everyone momentarily, and they were stunned. The glowing purple and orange aura were gone, but the sensory ninjas could still sense the chakra signature of the duo. The braced ones rushed forward to help, but Obito, the quickest in the fight, slammed his arm-like Truth-Seeker balls into Naruto and Sasuke. Fear registered on the face of those with chakra-sensing abilities. The chakra signature of the duo was diminishing. Were they dying? Thank you all for indulging yourselves in the story thus far. I hope you enjoyed it. Now, there's a few more things that I'd like to go over before the video ends. Firstly, we've got a primary channel called We the Celestials. We the Celestials is what we do here already, but their content's centered around the crazy world and lore of My Hero Academia. So, please check us out over there if you're feeling in the mood for a roller coaster of quirky content. We also have another relative to our channel, Anime Deep Dive. Anime Deep Dive goes deep into the facts and lore of a wide variety of anime. It's sure to expand your weeb knowledge for all kinds of series, guaranteed. I'd like to let you all know on behalf of We the Celestials that we'd like to thank everyone involved in the production of today's awesome content. Their details will be in the description below. If perhaps you're interested in what we do here at WTC, then I would like to extend an invitation for you to join the team. The only caveat being that we only accept members 16 years and older to join our crew. You can find us on our Discord, which you can also locate in the description below. Our Discord is an all-around fantastic place to be, whether you're a fan or just looking to join our band of misfits. All you gotta do is hit up the recruitment server and sign up for whichever category of work fulfills your interests. We're always looking for new members to join us. Well, that's it from us today. So thanks for watching and have a great day.